So please do not sell your property if you do not know these three considerations that I'm going to share with you. Well, so recently I have actually encountered some disturbing phone calls regarding their property, right? And they have inquired in to actually seek some help in their property plans. And one of the key questions when I asked them, I realized something very disturbing. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this case study of mine. So these two clients actually inquired in because they already had sold their property. All right, so which is a great thing, congratulations. But when I actually asked them a little bit further, with just one question, I realized the disturbing fact. You know, when I asked them, have you ever thought about what to do after you have sold your property? And you guess what's the answer? The two of them actually told me they do not know what to do next. So my question to everyone in this community, right? Have you actually done your property plans by just selling your property without realizing what are you going to do next? Well, I'm quite kind of amazed by in this current time and situation there are still families who are being told to sell their property without a proper plan. So these two clients who came on board and they actually asked me for help. It's very disturbing that I realized that the whoever helped them to sell their property, right, did not actually do a proper plan. So when they have sold their property, they're kind of in a junction where they do not know what's next. And the worst concern that I have is that because by not knowing what's the next step, they may be in a very difficult position to either get their next property within the price point that they want or the type of property that they can afford to, which is clearly the reason why these two clients actually get in contact with me because, so here this, right? So this is, like I say, very disturbing. They do not know that after they sold their property actually suffered a negative sale. So what do I mean by a negative sale? Meaning if your property is valued at 500,000 and after deducting all your outstanding loan, your borrowing from CPF, your accrued interest, and how much CPF you have used in this property, the property amount maybe is about 580,000, which means your property sold at 500,000 is a negative of 80,000. So these two case studies that came on board, when I was asking them and probing them, I was in shock that their property actually losses 70 to 90,000 per person. And the very alarm situation is that they do not know that this has happened. I mean, I can't blame them for not understanding, but whoever actually helped them to, get them to sell their property could have already highlighted this particular reason, and perhaps they may not actually go ahead with this sale. So right now, after the sale has been done, the documentation has been done, then they kind of come in and say that, okay, what can they do next? All right. So my friends in the community, many a times when we actually wanting to plan ahead for you, it's not because we are capable or we just want to diverge into your information. It's because when we understand what the numbers are, it does give us a better position to help you plan ahead. Unlike these two case studies that actually were actually screaming for help because they realized that the property that they sold for is either too low or they do not have any cash proceeds back. So I'm going to share with you three considerations, right? Before you sell a property, these are the three considerations you must understand. All right, the very first consideration is when you are planning, whether you are upgrading or maybe this is somewhere that you want to downsize, please understand your current position, your current situation in terms of a few areas. First, your employment status. All right. Second, your ability to continue paying for a property. And third, what are the areas of your current situation, be it whether it's a health situation or perhaps you have a lot of expenses that you need to take note of. You must understand your own current situation first, and if selling a property is something that you are looking out for. All right, so by understanding your current situation, you'll be able to plan it later. And the second consideration that you must know is that you must understand by selling this property, where are you going to go next? What's your next plan? What's your future plan? Because by not knowing where you want to head to, how are you able to actually move towards that direction? And this is a very common mistake that I've seen in many, many families, because they are rushing to sell their property, but not knowing where they want to go to after selling. And this is the biggest mistake, because there's so much considerations to be done to think about your future. All right, and of course, the third part and the third consideration, which is the most important, is to ensure your financial status is sound. All right, you are able to actually continue after selling this property, and you're able to actually purchase something within your ability and within your family size, as well as the family surrounding location is all within the distance that you want. All right, so these three considerations is very, very important, especially the last one. Because today, if you are just selling your property without knowing how much you are going to use it for to purchase your next property, you are going to be in trouble, like the 2 case study that I shared with you. We do not want any families to be in this position where you do not know what's the numbers going to be. And at the time when you sell your property and you want to buy another property, you realize you do not have enough. All right, so my friends in this community, I have been urging and basically preaching that whenever we want to do something in terms of property, let's have a timeline. Let's plan it ahead. Let us have a horizon of what are the various milestones you want to point towards. And when we have this direction, isn't it easier for you to work towards it? And take note of these three considerations: your current situation, your future situation that you want to be in, and of course your financial numbers has to be sound to get you from where you are now to where you want to be in future. And this is exactly what I'm going to share with you coming Saturday at 8 p.m., which is on the 22nd of August, 8 p.m., because I realize a lot of families still are not in the loop of how to actually plan for your own property. So the coming Saturday 8 p.m. session live, I'm going to share with you how are you actually going to consider for your next property, be it whether you are now owning a HDB, a private property, or a new launch property. What should be the consideration you take note of to consider for the next property that you want to plan for? All right, so this is Edmund Tan, and I really, really wish every one of you to just follow these three considerations seriously. And I hope none of you are actually already sold your property today and not knowing what are you going to do in future. All right, I shall see you guys very soon with more case studies, more learnings. And if you have any questions regarding things about property that you want me to answer for you, feel free to just write in and I will answer them on your behalf. Cheers, everyone.